Hey Dave, a question about UTR now. Since it's become more popular, there's a lot more pressure that's being built around kids and their performances and so forth. So, what kind of feedback do you have in regards to players playing players with less of a UTR? And I know you got a message there that we just got in. So, how about provide some feedback on how UTR can be a little healthier?
Okay, so I'm reading this message from Maor, I believe his name is, in Chicago, and he's saying that the negatives are that these kids are becoming obsessed with this stuff, which is certainly something that was we weren't looking for that when we tried to put this thing together. But here's the thing that these guys understand, and I've heard this before, that players are not playing matches when they see they've got to play someone who has a lower UTR. Okay, what I'd like to know a little bit more about is, where is this happening? Is this happening in the main draw, or is it happening in the back draw, the consolation? My guess is it's happening in the back draw more than the main draw. People don't default in main draws because they see someone that's going to be a little bit lower than they are.
Mm-hmm.
They default in the back draw because they fear for something's going to happen there. Well, let's see how far apart the players are. If a player is more than 1 point lower than a kid, so let's say you got one kid who's an 8 and the other kid is 5.75.
Right. So are they worried about being psyched out because they're playing
Because
a higher
you're playing
player?
someone who's
Yeah.
Okay. So I got to play a lower player right now. Okay.
Mhm.
Well, first of all, there's about a 3 to 5% chance you could lose if you had a really, really bad day and the other kid had a really, really good day.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But most of the time, you're going to win that match. So there might be a 20 to 25% of the time that the kid might have a pretty good score against you. But understand that score is mixed in with 29 other matches. So if you had a little bit lesser performance on a particular day, that's not going to kill you.
Mm-hmm.
It's a small part of it. You might have had a better performance in the main draw against some kid that was better than you who beat you to begin with. The trick is, no matter who you're playing, you should be trying to win as many games as you can or lose as few games as you can. But if that's going to worry you, you might want to take up another sport.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Parents need to understand this, but can I talk a little bit more about this backdraw stuff?
Dave, go ahead. Talk a little bit more about the
Okay,
backdraw.
all right. This backdraw stuff, I think this is probably the root of the thing.
Mm-hmm. Do you think there should be backdraws?
Well, I'm going to cover it in two things. Okay, number one, the feed-in backdraw is not good. Okay, it's just not good because you have stuff like this. But long before UTR, people were dropping out of the backdraws anyway. So
That's
I
true.
don't know that there's a greater percentage of people dropping out of backdraws and they're simply using the UTR excuse.
Yes.
But this was happening before. Players didn't want to play lower ranked players or have to play 2 matches a day,
Right.
which I kind of understand. You could change all that quickly by having backdraws that are basically what you call same round backdraws. So if I
Okay.
started off in the round of 64 and I got to the round of 16 and lost, my backdraw would be against the other 7 players who lost in that same round. This works great if you use UTR to seed at least half of the main draw. So if you got a 64 draw, you seed 32,
Mm-hmm.
and then you pull the rest from there. The
Right.
chances when you lose in that case is that you're going to end up playing someone who's within a point of you, and the opportunity for you to get better by beating players on your own level is given to you a second time in that tournament. In fact, that's probably the main thing that you want to do in a tournament. So I would suggest talk to the folks at Midwest and say, instead of this feed-in thing, that by the way takes more matches to do than if you had the same draw backdraw or the same round backdraw, and kids shouldn't be playing 2 back draw matches in one day. They should be playing the same number of matches as people who are in the main draw.
Right.
It's fewer court hours, but maybe spread out over a few more days.
All right, Dave. Thanks for the feedback.